This is Kelsey from Kelsey Reads Things at Anna Porter Public Library in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and I am discussing with you today audiobooks. Audiobooks are a great alternative for those of us who live busy lives and don't always have time to sit down and read. You can access audiobooks for free with the Libby app. I did a video earlier this year about Libby, and you can find it under my YouTube channel. And all the books I will be discussing today are available through the Libby app. Let's get started. So today's topic in terms of audiobooks is going to be LGBTQ titles. The LGBTQ titles I'm going to be discussing today include Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey Quinston, Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli, and finally, What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. Two of these titles are young adult and one title is an adult book. However, it is targeted towards young new adults, which means anywhere between their age range of 18 to 24. But again, books are books and everyone is allowed and welcome to read whatever categories they would like. That being said, let's get started with Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey Quinston. This was the adult LGBTQ title pick for audiobooks that I listened to this year, and overall I really enjoyed the story. The plot has to do with Alex and Henry. Alex's mother is the President of the United States, and Henry's grandmother is the Queen of England. And this adorable rom-com starts out with the two men not being fans of each other, but soon learning that enemies can turn into lovers. I really enjoyed this story, especially in terms of the political themes that were available in the story. It really not only showed the struggle of having to express yourself and your preferences to your family, but also to the large audience of countries. That was a really interesting theme throughout, was the political backgrounds and the social structures and the struggles that these two young men go through because of the positions that either themselves are in or that their families are in. Some of the other themes that were covered include coming out, dealing with intolerance not only internally but externally. As I mentioned, there was a lot of societal and social structures that were discussed and tensions, so that was really interesting and refreshing to read about, and I thought it was also informative and definitely valid for the society that we would deal with today. Other themes included American and British politics, antics, and enemies to lovers, and of course lots and lots of comedic scenes. There was also a strong representation of friendships and found families as well, rather than just biological families, so that was great to read about. Red, White, and Royal Blue was narrated by Simone de Ocampo. And I personally was not a huge fan of their narrator selection, especially because I didn't think that his voice fit the characters. He was very British, and definitely you could tell that he was an older gentleman, versus I think a younger voice would have suited the actual plot and the characters better, because they are both young men in their 20s. The pacing was hit or miss. I considered it quite a bit slower in the beginning, but as the story diverged, it definitely became more interesting, especially as the love interest developed, the story itself developed. I liked that the two main characters were older. They weren't 18 years old, they were at least in their early to mid-20s, so they had a little bit more of life experience and I'd say maturity as well. I also liked that there was representation outside of being gay. One of the characters is bisexual, and I thought that it was good to represent that as well. My biggest concern in terms of this audiobook specifically was at times it was difficult to tell which main character was speaking, just because they had one narrator for the entire book and both of the main characters were males. So that was my only one of my only concerns in terms of the book, outside of my personal belief that the narrator was not the right pick. So overall, I really enjoyed the story. I thought it was refreshing. I really enjoyed the political structures that were represented in the book, and I gave it a 4.5 out of 4 stars. Now I'd like to discuss Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli, and this audiobook was narrated by Michael Crouch. Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda is a young adult book, and it is a coming-of-age book, which is narrated by Simon, the main character. Coming out is a major theme of this story, and accepting yourself as well as other people is also represented in this book. The major premise of Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda has to do with Simon, who has been emailing back and forth with another student from his high school who is gay as well. Simon has not come out yet, and he has emails back and forth with this individual. Unfortunately, one day while he was in the school library, he failed to log out of his Gmail account, and a fellow student that he's in a school play with sees his emails and threatens to disclose that Simon is gay to the entire school unless Simon somehow convinces one of his best friends to go on a date with the guy that discovered his emails. Overall, I really enjoyed the story. I thought it was very prevalent for today. I loved the themes of coming out and accepting yourself and standing up for yourself and others. I thought that was really important. The voice of Simon was just fun and lighthearted, and there were a lot of Harry Potter references, so that's something that I of course enjoyed as an avid Harry Potter fan. Some of the themes of the book include comedy, risking friendships and intolerance, acceptance of yourself, and of course coming out to family and friends. I thought that the narrator did a phenomenal job. I think they picked the perfect person for voicing Simon. He was energetic and fun and had a little bit of a dry wit to him, and I definitely thought that that suited Simon. And another thing, I really enjoyed the pacing of this audiobook. There were times when I didn't realize that I had been listening to it for 2 to 3 hours. So that is always a good sign that you're enjoying what you're listening to. So overall, I gave Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda a 5 out of 5 star rating, especially in terms of the audiobook. Great job. And the final book I'll be discussing today is What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli. We got to discuss her twice today, and Adam Silvera. What If It's Us is about 2 young men who are in New York City. So Arthur is interning for his mother at the law firm, and he believes that the universe is on his side, and if the universe gives him a sign, he's gonna run with it. Whereas Ben, his love interest, and also the other main character, wishes the universe would just leave him alone. He at this time has gone through a bad breakup, and the two actually meet at the post office as Ben is returning items that belong to his ex-boyfriend. From there, Arthur is determined to locate Ben and hopefully make some magic happen. This book was narrated by Noah Gabin and Froy Gutierrez. I very much apologize if I did not pronounce that correctly. I enjoyed the 2 narrators because you could definitely tell which main person was speaking and when, as the chapters are divided up by the 2 perspectives of the 2 main characters. I also liked that these 2 young men had already come out to their families, so that wasn't a big theme, but it was more about just their relationship and their relationships with others. So I actually thought that was kind of refreshing and nice. I really enjoyed that they were already accepted and loved by their peers. I thought the pacing was fun and upbeat, very kooky and heartwarming. There were also quite a few of Harry Potter references in this book. Becky Albertalli is known for that, I suppose. Overall, I enjoyed the story. However, the ending, personally for me, I felt like left a few loose ends. I wish it had been a little more concrete. But overall, I enjoyed the story, so I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. Those are all the LGBTQ audiobooks I wanted to discuss with you today. They're all available through the Libby app and especially through Anna Porter Public Library's Access. I hope you enjoyed this video today, and if you have questions or suggestions, please feel free to drop drop a comment or call me at 865-436-5588 and ask for Kelsey. Thanks again, and I hope you have a wonderful Friday.